Hey, welcome back to our channel where we discuss the retire early lifestyle, whether it's at home or abroad. Today we're talking about Plan B, and specifically the heartache of Plan B failure and what we learned. I don't know if how many of you have been considering or aware of or implementing a Plan B, but this idea of a Plan B by going abroad has been, it's been talked about for a very long time. I mean, at least a decade or more. And, the early adopters, some of them called it internationalization, internationalizing your life, which is a great idea. And a lot of people are nomad wannabes and internationalization wannabes. And so we're all in different stages. Those of us that have gone abroad and done it. There's those of us that want to do it but haven't yet, and there's those of us that are still making plans. And so, you put the best laid plans to work. You're going to do this, you're going to do A, B, C, D, you're going to go over here and get residency over there, and then you're going to travel like this and do this, and you're going to minimize all these burdens, that you had before, and you're going to just have so much more freedom. And what a wonderful life that it has been for 10 years. But as you know, 2020 changed all of that. And I just wanted to reiterate what I'm seeing all over the internet, this idea. You see these people, and I've mentioned in other videos, people saying, oh, these countries are wide open, All it takes, folks, this day and age, is just a little simple Google trick, or let's just say a DuckDuckGo trick. It's not even a trick. Search, and you just go to the to the websites that tell you what the entry requirements are, and you'll see that nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, what part of having the quarantine or having to have a mandatory jab card or sticks up your nose, false test up your nose, whatever, fake test, whatever you want to call it. If you don't know what I mean by that, do some research, go outside of the standard circles, and you'll find out all about it. But basically, that's not freedom. And I've said in many videos, we went abroad for freedom, and a lot of people do go abroad for freedom. Can you imagine the amount of freedom we had pre-2020, where you could just as efficient as you possibly can be at locating very low cost airfare. But when you're not engaged in the workaday lifestyle where you're just busy, chasing money all the time, you don't have the time to sit here and be very effective. And I'm just saying that it's so possible, and it was so doable. Angie and I have figured out that we could indefinitely nomad around Europe for $1,400 a month. And you saw me in that nice little apartment in Italy for $300. I had several of them. There was no shortage of them. When I first got there, I had one, and then when we moved, we had a nice big one, and then when we moved again, so we had 3 different apartments, all under 330 euros, around the 300 to 330 euro a month, which is around $350 a month range. These are furnished, all utilities included. And so you saw us go to Malta on a $25 flight. We had a nice hotel apartment, 2 blocks from the water. That one was very, very short term, so it cost a little more. That one was $600 for the month. But again, with a $25 flight, just the options of freedom of movement that we had pre-2020, and all of the other benefits that come from internationalizing your life were just a no-brainer, and it just was a cause of a lot of happiness. People get so happy they start blogging, right? I'm so happy, I've got to tell the world, let's start blogging. But therein lies the two-edged sword. People start blogging and they start putting out information, and all of a sudden they start promoting. And that's one of the things about this channel. that you won't see us do. People ask us all the time, "Oh, where are you now?" Or "What are you, or where can I go? Where can I go?" And we don't make videos like that, because take a look at every single video on the internet that talks about, "Oh, this place is open," or "Oh, whoa, where can I go?" The reality is that there were 200 countries that were potential places to go pre-2020. And now you can count them on one hand what's really and truly free. And I'm not talking about the ones that are being pumped on the internet and being said that they're free, but they aren't. Okay, so those don't count. So if you remove those and only go to the ones that have any semblance left of pre-2020, you can count them on one hand. And even in those, we've got issues. There's a big misconception going around that Mexico is super free, because the president has made statements. He keeps making these statements. Even just a few days ago, he said that they will, that it is not acceptable to submit to any kind of authoritarianism, period, any kind. Oh, and he also was quoted as saying that, no, we will not require any such thing as jab cards and, tests and all this. And yet at the same time that he's saying that, the people in Mazatlan are saying that you're not going to be able to enter these establishments. You're not going to be able to do this and that without all of the above. So, you've got two different things going on here. And as I've discussed before, we need to be on our guard here, because what happens is that we put down our guard and we embrace a false sense of security. And when we do that, we don't come to understand, or we avoid understanding, that we're being apathetic, and we don't live in that kind of a world. I mean, there are places where some successes are being made, but again, it's better than nothing. It isn't yet. I don't see these places as yet that are even the ones that you see in the headlines, like Denmark dropping all COVID restrictions, and then you go do the research. Not if you want to fly into the country, they didn't. And so these are misleading headlines. And then when you read the whole article, you see that the government reserves the right to reenact any and all restrictions in case there's another pandemic. Oh, wow. So you're dropping all restrictions because why? Because you don't believe in them? But you do believe in them because you reserve the right. What do the people reserve the right? The people reserve the right to all of their rights. But when the people are apathetic or just aloof and think that they're going somewhere where they don't need to be thinking about these things, then, they set themselves up for the camel's nose under the tent, and all of a sudden getting a surprise attack. So I just want to warn you, because I've also made a video called Locked Out of Panama, and that we traveled to Panama. We really like Panama pre-2020. There is no way you can get me to go to Panama now post-2020. There is absolutely no, you cannot pay me enough. You cannot give me tens of millions of dollars to even fly through Panama. It's that bad. And, you go to the expat forums, they don't tell you that. If you try to say anything at all on those forums, they'll just block you and boot you. So, we've got some issues here, folks. And so, Panama, I bring that up only as an example. There are many different places that people are utilizing. The whole idea of internationalization was to use these places as tools to achieve your objective, not the other way around. You are not a tool of the respective governments where they are just using you as their, cows that they milk for everything that they can get out of you. It's just the reverse. Utilizing different aspects of different places to achieve your objectives. In other words, tilting the balance back in our favor, where governments are serving you rather than lording over you, which is what they've been used to doing all our lives. And so this whole idea, again, there are people that are using different parts of the world in order to do that. So I didn't want to specifically make it sound like that, Panama is the only place. Lots of places, out in Asia, lots of places in Central America, South America, and even some places in Europe that can easily qualify those that are interested in freedom from a lot of bureaucratic hassles. And reducing obligations and this kind of thing, and the freedom of movement and the beauty of travel and all that for those of us that enjoy it. However, after 2020, things have gotten so complex just about everywhere in the world. As stated, only a handful or less of countries are even, making the list of places that are really still open. And even those countries are not really 100% completely back to normal pre-2020. So you've got a whole new scenario here, and they're still slowly but surely in process of trying to sneak in these regulations a little bit by little bit underneath the nose of those leaders, or perhaps those people, in power that are attempting to keep the country free. So, yeah, it's like you make all these plans and God's got other plans. That's what it looks like, guys. It's not that we haven't enjoyed traveling and going to Panama and setting up a plan B, and no one person or family's way that they do things necessarily are going to fit the way that you might decide. One person works well with the Panama residency, but the next guy is going to use Malaysia or or some other place in Central America, or wherever it is in the world. That was the beauty of going abroad pre-2020, was all the options that you had available. I mean, you just gained this huge whole new war chest of options. And now what's happened? Well, in 2020, they have just now shut them all back down. I mean, you've got to be in denial to pretend that that's not the case. I mean, you're definitely in denial if you're telling yourself that the world is still open, and a lot of people are dropping out from the travel. And you see me make videos, I quit this and that and the other, and we said that that's what we're doing. You don't see us going. I mean, we went all over Europe and Central America, but those days are over now, and it's up to us to embrace a brand new strategy. I'm going to be talking more and more about this, a brand new strategy, and what have we learned from it. Now, I'm not trying to say that there isn't still something to it. Living abroad still has a little glimmer and a little shine, and there is hope. There is hope that we can make it good and make it work and have the lifestyle. We still have the option of choosing a lifestyle, which I think is even more important than anything else. The lifestyle, to me, comes pretty much at the top of the priority list, rather than say, maybe some of the other things, that the other reasons that people go abroad. I'm not trying to minimize the cost factor, and the minimization or reduction of taxes. Those are all great things. I mean, when you can nomad around Europe for $1,400, I mean, how many of you spend $1,400 just sitting in one place? I mean, we sure did. We spent more than that in the States. So, yeah, it's clearly a no-brainer. But again, after 2020, what we've learned from it, you can spend all the money, you can make all these great plans, but ultimately, you're really not in control. And so the ultimate plan B is to have family and friends, and a loving community that is supportive of one another, and treat each other like family, and love one another. That's the true and best plan B that you could ever have. It is what we have received, and is what we confirm that going forward is going to be the thing to be focused on. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming to the channel. Let us know your comments below. Thanks for coming, and have a nice day.